happy fall, y'all. So here's just kind of an example. I keep making all these impulsive decisions. I just think that's funny. I gotta finish this thing. Did end up running out of yarn. Note to self, write down where you are in the pattern. Hey y'all, it's Taylor from yokieB.com. Welcome to my channel where I share crochet and knitting patterns and tutorials, as well as finished projects and lots of fun fabric things. I'm super excited to bring you episode 2 of my knitting and crochet podcast. This has been really fun for me to start. I think it's really helped me stay accountable with my projects and to stay focused on my whips, even just now being on episode 2. So I really appreciate you guys following along. As always, please let me know if there's anything specific you want me to add to future podcasts. I'm going to be going over some finished projects, then I've got some super fun new things to share with you guys, as well as a little bit of progress on at least one whip. So let's go ahead and get started. I wanted to start out with new things because I have some super exciting new things to share with you. Laura from Row 1 Yarn gifted these to me, and I'm so excited to show you the Carnival of Color Kit. And what that is a monthly subscription service where you get 10-gram minis of fingering weight yarn from a mystery indie dyer. So each month it's a surprise. It's a great way to find new indie dyers that you may have never heard of before and just try some of their yarn, find new colorways you love. I'm so excited to share with you August and September. The August featured indie dyer is Ryan from Salty Blonde Fibers out of Elizabeth, Colorado. And this yarn is absolutely beautiful. The colors that I have here to try in the 2-ply sock yarn are Taos, Oyster Bay, Royal Pine, Cherry Blooms, Tidal Pool, Lavender London Fog, Sandy, Darko, So Foxy, and Soup. I have to say that I think my favorite is Taos. It is just gorgeous. I love the speckles in it. It's this really pretty kind of pink coral color with like turquoise and red and green speckles. I love it so much. I also really love Oyster Bay, so it's tough to decide which is my favorite. Honestly, so many of these together make such a beautiful combination. So that is August featured dyer. September's featured dyer is Abby from Poppy and Spruce from Brighton, Colorado. There are so many beautiful ones here too. Blood Moon, Feed the Birds, Autumn Leaves, Clay, Butternut Squash, Colorado Blue Spruce, Mint, Lichen, Sand, and Climbing Rose. Tough to say. I really love this Climbing Rose and Mint, of course. Those are sometimes like my go-to color combinations. I love pink and coral and turquoise together. I just think they look so pretty. I also love this color Clay here. It is such a pretty brown color. It almost looks like it has a little bit of purple in it as well. So I really love that color, and I've been brainstorming about what I want to do with this yarn. I absolutely love a scrap project. They are probably some of my favorite projects. You guys may already know that, but I think I've landed on a crocheted vest. So I've been super inspired by this channel right here and her crochet flower vest, and I would love to make a random flower vest that has all different kinds of color combinations and all different sizes of flowers and styles of flowers. And so I'm excited to kind of play around with that and just kind of randomly put it together. It's definitely going to be like a freestyle crochet project. Here's just a little flower example. I used Taos, So Foxy, and Soup for this one, and I just think it's so cute. I'm not sure if this is exactly how I will do one of the flowers or not, but I just want to kind of play around with it. But I thought it was so cute, and I absolutely love these colors together. I just think they're so pretty. I haven't even wound them into balls yet. I just want to get right to it and get started, but I was really excited about it. I think it looks super cute. So here's just kind of an example. I'm just going to play around with some different ideas for flowers and then kind of randomly put them together. I'm not sure if I'm going to start with a flower and then just build a shirt from that with other flowers, or if I make all the flowers separately. I'm not sure yet, but we will see. I think it'll make a really cute vest that I can wear through the whole year. So in the summer I can wear it with a tank underneath it, and then as the weather gets cooler I can wear like a turtleneck underneath it or maybe a sweater. So I cannot wait to get started on that. If you guys want to try out Row 1 Yarn, you can get 20% off your first month as a new subscriber with the code yokieB. So I'll be sure to put the link in the description box below as well as the code. I would love to hear if you're already a subscriber to Row 1 Yarn or if it's something that you'd be interested in. I just think it's a great way to spread the word word about all these super talented indie dyers. I just love trying new yarn. I cannot get enough of it, and it never gets old, and I'm always excited. It doesn't matter what the yarn. To try new yarn is like the best thing ever. I hope you guys are excited about it too, and maybe if you see a colorway you like here, you can go check out one of these indie dyers as well. So that was a really fun new thing that I wanted to share with you guys. So next up on the new things is also a yarn. Now this I purchased for a gift, and this is the Go Handmade Teddy yarn. I want to make a teddy bear as a baby gift, and I've actually made this teddy bear before. It is, I think, the classic teddy pattern by Darling Jador. And I did make it once. I have a whole video about that if you want to check it out. I'll be sure to link it down below. But I actually made the bear. It's a whole thing. Like, I got the wrong kind of yarn. I thought I had the right yarn, and so the bear didn't look the way that I wanted it to, and well, you'll have to just see the video. I made this for my niece, and I just was not happy with the first bear, so I ended up making another bear. But during that time, I think I found this one, or maybe it was a similar yarn to this by Go Handmade, I believe. It was either, I think there's like a curly one too. I think I even mentioned it in the video, and I don't know if it was like on Pinterest or I saw it somewhere, and I thought if I make that again, I definitely want to use this yarn, and so I purchased this teddy yarn. I am thinking now, I don't know if I have enough here. I really should have checked the yardage first. I keep making all these impulsive decisions, and I'm not getting enough yarn. You'll hear about that in just a minute. But I'm super excited to try this yarn. I think it's so cute, and I cannot wait to see how it looks crocheted up in this teddy bear. So I'll be excited to share that with you guys. And like I mentioned, I always love trying new yarn. So being able to try this yarn is super exciting for me as well. And I'll let you guys know my whole experience with it, how it works up, if it's easy to use. I got this from Hobby as well. I can't remember the price, but I'll be sure to put it up here, and then also link this yarn down below if you'd like to check it out. So my third new thing to share with you guys, I am super excited. If you caught my last video, then you already know about it, but let's take you over here and see. So this is my new electric yarn winder from Kato, and I am super excited about it. I do have a whole video where I share my experience with it, from unboxing it to how to use it, and I assemble the whole thing as well. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll be sure to link that down below if you want to check it out. I am so excited. I've been winding so many cakes of yarn, and I know that it's not always the best thing to wind all of your yarn into cakes, and so I'm only doing the ones that were already wound up into balls anyways, because they're going to have that same problem. And honestly, I think that this will be a better way to store them than in ball form. But let me just show you all of these cakes that I've already made. So here we have got all of these cakes. Oh my goodness, you guys. I wanted to try all different types of yarn, all different sizes of yarn, all the kinds. And so I've got some acrylic, I've got some polyester, I've got some wool, I've got DK weight, I've got fingering weight, I've got bulky weight. So it has just been so much fun, and I've enjoyed it so much. I actually also have a coupon code for you there where you can save 30% on that. So I'll be sure to link that down below as well. I've needed one of these for a long time, and so I'm super excited to now have this new fun toy. To share my finished projects with you guys. This is the wavy crochet sweater by Retro. I think that's how you say it. This is the one that you guys voted for me to wear in the podcast, so here it is. Thank you guys so much for voting. I just thought that might be a fun thing to vote for because I just wasn't sure which one I wanted to wear. I was super excited about both of the finished projects that were for myself, and so I am very excited to have worn this one. I will definitely show you the next one on as well, but I thought this was a fun one to wear. I'm super excited with the finished sweater. I did end up running out of yarn, which is hilarious. As you can see, I have just a different variation of the pattern on the end of the sleeves, but that really doesn't bother me. I am so all about a random detail. I just like that kind of a thing, so it did not bother me at all. I really wanted to use up some scrap yarn and some stash yarn here, and so on the back I have a recycled yarn that I was able to use the rest of. I did run out of that as well, and so I don't have any in the front, but I was excited to use it on the back. And then some of the stash yarn that I used is this paint box cotton DK. So I had this color, I think this is mustard, I believe. Yeah, so mustard yellow. Then I think it's Kingfisher blue is the name of the blue. And then lipstick pink. I think lipstick pink. And then I also used some King Cole Limited cotton. I did end up running out of that, and I used another ball of scrap yarn that I had that I thought was the same yarn, but it seemed like it was a little bit thicker. So I did find that this sleeve blocked a tiny bit differently than this side. I mean, they're both pretty much the same length. Well, yeah, no, they're pretty much the same length. I did notice that this one is a little bit thicker, and I knew it was, and I even ended up running out of that second ball of King Cole Limited cotton, or at least I thought it was. It didn't have the sleeve on it anymore, but it looked very similar to the other one. I even ran out of that, so I had to use some sugar and cream cotton that I had just purchased to finish my other sweater that I'm going to show you guys. But overall, I'm super happy with the way it turned out. This is actually a sweater that I started with my friend Tara from She's Rooted Home, and we wanted to start a project together. So we started this project and we really lost steam. We both just put it down forever and ever. I started on January 30th of this year and then just now finished it, I think like on the 14th or something of September. And I was like, I am determined to finish this. It was just one of those projects that I wasn't really enjoying, and so it took me forever to finish it, but I'm so glad that I did finish it. In the pattern, she doesn't really have sizes. She just tells you how to find a measurement for you specifically, and so I just ended up going with what the pattern said because it was very close to the measurement that I came up with, and so I was like, well, I'll just go with what the pattern says. So that's what I did, and I think it's a nice fit. I like that it's cropped. I didn't make any major adjustments with the pattern. The only thing that I changed, besides of course, you know, random scrap yarn striping and things like that, is the neckline. I did not do the single crochet around the border here. I just thought that kind of the wavy edge looked really nice. In the pattern, she actually decreases around the sleeve so that it kind of creates a balloon sleeve, which would also be super cute. But I just really liked the way that the wave was on your hands and it kind of flared out. I just really liked that look, and so I just kept it that way. And so I didn't end up making a border on any of the edges, so the neck, the bottom, or the sleeves. I just left it as it was. Even though this wasn't my favorite project to work on, I do love the end result. I think it's super, super cute, and so I'm so glad that I finished it, but it really took a lot to finish it. My daughter said she really wants a sweater like this too, and so I'm debating on whether I should just give this one to her, but I was very excited to wear it and I really, really love it. My next finished project is one that I was almost done with last podcast. I only had the sleeve, but I ran out of yarn for it. This is the Lotus sweater by Norris. This was part of the spring 2024 make along. I didn't purchase this kit, but as with all the make alongs, you get every pattern that goes with the make along. So even if you didn't purchase the kit for that particular pattern, you get all of the patterns. So it's so fun to have just loads and loads of patterns in your library. And so I really wanted to make this one as well, and I sort of went back and forth about which one to choose, but the reason I chose the Sunbeam Stripe sweater is because I just wanted to make that sweater for so long, and I absolutely love any opportunity to use the Dreamland yarn or the daisy chain yarn. Those are my favorites, and so that's why I chose that one. But this one I thought was super cute too. Of course, they use a wool, like a thick and thin wool, which is their Spun Cloud Light, but I just ended up using a cone of sugar and cream that I had on hand. I thought it would make a really nice transitional sweater or summer sweater. And here on the front, I used just some scraps that I had from the Wildflower minis, and I'm super excited with how it turned out. I just love the size of it. I love how drapey it is. I think the cotton really gives it just the prettiest drape. And it was so funny because, you know, every time you try to use up scrap yarn or stash yarn, you so often end up buying more. I mean, let me know down below if that is what you find to be true. But I was so excited. I was almost to the end of my little cone of sugar and cream, and I had to purchase another one. Now, I do have to say that I really love having this cone of sugar and cream on hand. I feel like I've used it for just random things. I've used it for plant holders. I've used it for just putting in other projects, this right here to finish this sleeve. So I feel like I do use it often, and I think that one full cone would have been enough to finish this sweater, but I had used it for some other things, and so I ended up purchasing another cone. And isn't that just always how it goes? I mean, I know I will use this in the future. It's just so funny because when your goal is to use up scrap yarn or stash yarn, how often do we just end up purchasing more because we don't have enough to make the project that we want to? I just think that's funny. So I made the size 2, and I don't think that I checked gauge or anything like that. I think I just decided I was going to go with this and I just went with it. It's recommended to be worn with 8 to 10 inches of positive ease, and I made the size 2, which is a 43¼ basically bust size measurement. So that would work pretty well for that type of positive ease. And I would say that it definitely, I mean, it's at least that for sure. It might be more than that, but I'm all about some positive ease. I just absolutely love the way that it turned out, and I was so excited to have more than one finished project to share with you guys. I just really feel like this is keeping me motivated to finish projects for you guys and not just constantly start new projects. I mean, I still do that too, don't get me wrong, but I think this really helps me because I just want to be able to share it with you guys. I want to be able to tell you all about it and the things that I learned about it, or maybe some troubles that I had along the way. So I hope you guys are excited about this podcast too, and it is really helping me stay accountable with my projects. So thank you for that. I started this around May 20th and then I finished on the 1st of September. So it really wouldn't have taken me that long. I would have finished long ago if I wouldn't have run out of yarn, but it took me a while to purchase it. Just I don't know, maybe on principle, because it's like you're trying to be resourceful and use up your yarn, and so it's like, oh, now I have to buy more. But I did end up finishing it, so super excited to wear that. My third finished project to share with you guys is the Lined Summer Top by Russ Knitwear Designs. I got this pattern on Ravelry. I'll be sure to link it down below, just like all of these patterns or anything that I mentioned that I can link. I will for sure put it down below if you're interested. This is actually a gift from my daughter's swim teacher, and my daughter picked out the pattern. We were just trying to find something that would go with her personality. I saw her wear a bathing suit that was similar to this color. It's not quite the exact color, but it was similar, and I thought it looked so pretty on her, and so we thought that this would be a really fun thing to make. This is a super straightforward pattern. There's a graph that goes along with it, and it's really easy to follow, but y'all, for some reason, oh my goodness, I kept messing up on this thing like constantly. Like at one point I ended up frogging the entire thing and starting over. I think I had gotten pretty far, like I was at least half of the way done, and I frogged the whole thing because for some reason I don't know if I was tired when I was knitting it, but I kept messing up the cable pattern. So sometimes I would put it in front when I needed to put it in back, and then sometimes I would just completely miss doing that particular cable, so I would skip one of them. Oh my goodness, you guys, I did that for so long. I even tried a couple of things like putting a stitch marker there to like remind myself it's time to do a cable, but for some reason there was a period of time that I just kept messing up on this thing, and I literally frogged so much of this. It really wouldn't have taken very long if I wouldn't have messed up so much. I think when I ended up frogging like half of it was when I realized that for some reason some of the lines were too far apart and then some were too close together, and so they are pretty much correct now. I do think that there are a couple that are not perfect, but I was like, I gotta finish this thing or like she will never have her tank top. So I do think it is super pretty. This is supposed to be worn with negative ease, and it's hard because I don't know the exact size that she wears, and so I hope that it fits. I haven't blocked this thing yet, so that will really help with the curling here at the bottom, and I think just make the cables look even better. And I think ultimately it's going to fit and fit well. It's so hard when you're making something for somebody if you don't know their exact size. I mean, you kind of have like a guess, but you're just not sure. And so we will see. I really hope this fits. I did end up going with the size D in the pattern, and I didn't really make any adjustments. I stayed true to pattern. The only thing is I did not use a cable needle. I just used a stitch marker. Since it was just like one cable at a time, it was really easy to just use a stitch marker, because I feel like sometimes cable needles can be really cumbersome and just get in the way and honestly make things take longer. And so for this, I just wanted it to go fast and for it just to be smooth, even though y'all, it was not smooth because we all know that I messed up on this a ton. But overall, I think the removable stitch marker really helped me get through this a little bit faster. I ended up using a new yarn that I had never tried before. It's this rainbow 8x8 cotton from Hobie. And so I can't remember exactly, I think I got this on sale, but I'll be sure to put the price up here and I will link it down below. But I really like this cotton. I think it is a DK. Yeah, it's a number 3, so about a DK. I do think it's a little bit thicker than like the paint box cotton DK, and so like I used for this sweater, but it's really nice. It's a really nice quality. It's a really nice texture. So each of these are 50 grams, but this one you get 82 yards, and then this paint box cotton DK you get 137 yards. So it's definitely thicker than the paint box cotton DK, and it definitely has a different feel. I would say it's a little bit softer, but I don't know that the stitch definition is as good. I use the paint box cotton DK for amigurumi all the time, and I love the stitch definition that it has, and so I do think that it has more of that, but this is a really soft cotton, and so I do enjoy it, and I'm sure I will use it again in the future. So I started this top on the 7th of August. I ended up frogging half of it as far as I had gotten on the 15th, and then I finished it on the 18th. So I was very excited to have finally finished it. Because this is a thicker yarn, I ended up using a smaller needle, so I used a 2.25 because it's my favorite Chaigu needle. I use that needle whenever I can because it's my absolute favorite. I love this needle so much, and it's what I use for socks all the time, and anytime I have the opportunity to use that needle, I do. And so I just decided, since this yarn was a little bit thicker, I would use that needle size, and it worked really well. So we've reached the last part of the podcast where I'm going to share my whips with you. I figured I wouldn't share the whips that I shared last time unless I had made progress on them. Now, if you want me to in the future, I can definitely do that. So please let me know down below if that's something you want me to do. But I figured I'd just share the ones that I've made some progress on, or if I have a new whip, because, you know, I start whips all the time. I did have several projects where I started the planning process in my fall knitting and crochet planning video. So if you want to check that out, I will link that down below. And one of those I have here to share with you guys because I did sort of start it in the video video. So I have a little bit of progress on that one. But first I'll start with the Douglas Cardi. That's the one that I shared in my last podcast. And this is by Andrea Mowry. I have made some progress on this. My goal was to finish by the first day of fall, which was actually yesterday. Happy fall, y'all. I did not finish, sadly, but that's okay. I just am glad that I've made some more progress on it. I have gotten the body all put together here, as you can see, and I've started the sleeve. When I started this again, so I finished those projects that I just showed you, and I had put this down for quite a while, and honestly, I had forgotten where I was in the pattern. I did not write it down. Note to self, write down where you are in the pattern. And I guess I just thought that I would be able to figure it out, but I had not connected the front panels with the back panel yet, and so it was just kind of all a mess, and my stitch count was even off, and so I was like, okay, what is going on here? So I ended up just ripping back a little bit, and then where I was missing one stitch, I had realized that I just didn't cast on enough stitches, and so I was gonna have to rip back anyways because of that. I think I was just trying to go too fast, and y'all, again, with the sleeve, I had to rip back here as well because I was not paying attention to the sleeve decreases. I tried it on and I was like, well, do I need the sleeve decreases? But I ended up going ahead and ripping back because I didn't want to have too much of a balloon sleeve at the end before the cuff because that's not really the style of the sweater. And so I ended up ripping back, and so I'm going to add in the decreases because I had pretty much finished the sleeve minus the cuff. So I've definitely ripped back a few times on this. I think I'm just trying to go too fast and just get it done. But I really like this pattern, and I'm really excited to have a gray cardigan. I really like this yarn. It is Go Handmade Cozy yarn, and I had never tried it before, but it is a 60-40 cotton acrylic blend. And so it's almost like a t-shirt cardigan, like that's sort of how it feels. I really loved kind of the heather gray color on this yarn, and so I thought it would look really good. I think it's gonna be a super comfortable cardigan. I am also using just a little bit of detail here of this Ruby and Roses in the color Streetcar. I'm gonna add a little bit more in. I know around kind of the edging and then possibly on the pockets. I haven't decided yet, but I may also add in a little bit at the edge of the sleeve. I just wanted to add in a little bit of something extra, but I know I will make another one of these because the Douglas cardigan pattern is designed to have stripes, and I think it is super cute with stripes. I also want to do like a fuzzy version. I ended up making a size 1, and I do think my measurements are going to be a little bit larger than the size 1 in the pattern. We'll see at the end. My gauge was just a little bit off when I did check for it, but I would love to make a size 2 or a size 3 just to have a really oversized cardigan. And so I know I'll make this again. I might make it a couple of times because, you know, you can never have too many just like throw on cardigans. I mean, maybe you could have too many, but you know what I'm saying. So I'm very excited to finish this one, and I'm hoping to finish it within the next week or so, definitely by the next podcast. As I was working on it, I was glad to have seen in one of Andrea's podcasts about how she likes to do her sleeves. She had mentioned it in one of them, and so it kind of gave me an idea of the construction already, and that way I think it helped me like know the way it was looking in the pattern, because a lot of times with drop shoulder designs, they all are kind of made the same way, but this is a little bit different. And so I was excited to have kind of had a heads up on that so that it was all kind of smooth sailing, besides the times that I just got ahead of myself and had to frog. That's the thing, is sometimes I like just scan a pattern and don't always read every single word, but this one, the way it's set up, you definitely have to read every single word in the way that each thing is sectioned out. So I really should have done that, and I think I just got started because I did the same thing over here with the pockets. I had to frog that because I got too far ahead of myself and realized that I was supposed to just add in this spot for the pockets as I was going. So these are for the pockets that I will do after I finish the sleeves, I believe. And so I just need to not try to rush through the pattern. That is my fault, my problem. And maybe that was my problem with the line summer top as well. But I'm very excited to keep going on this, and I can't wait to add in some more little details and share the finished project with you guys. So my last thing to share with you guys is another whip that I technically sort of started in my fall planning video, like I mentioned. Of course, I have those other whips that are still in my mental queue, and I am going to add them to my Ravelry queue soon. But I did add in all these fall projects to my Ravelry queue, so I was very excited about that and excited to actually use that feature. I have that in my last video as well. If you have never used the Ravelry queue and just kind of want somebody to walk you through it, trial and error, because I had never done it before, and so it was just something that I really wanted to start using. Just like the yarn stash feature, that is also something that I have planned to use that so that I can just get more organized in general. general, because I feel like when you are more organized, you get more excited about the things you finish, and also you get more done. Like, I just feel like you are more productive because you know what you have, and if you have a deadline set, it of course is flexible, but it kind of gives you a goal to reach. So I'm very excited to now be using those features. But this one is another Corinne cardie. So this is by Vanessa Reyes, and this would be my second Corinne cardie. I made it for, I think, the 2022 or 2021 make along, fall or spring. I can't remember which one it was at this point, but that is like my most worn sweater. I wear it all the time, and so I really thought it would be fun to use up some of my stash yarn and scrap yarn. And what I came up with was using this Drops Air here. I did have a plan to use this for pants, and I may still do that, but I decided to go ahead and use it because I've had it for a while and I have not started those pants, and so I just decided to use it for this. I think this will make an absolutely beautiful sweater, and this is the color Pink Sand, I believe. If you have never tried Drops yarn, they have lots of different types of yarn. I highly recommend it. They have so many natural fibers and at affordable prices. So this is 65% alpaca, 28% polyamide, and 7% wool. So their yarns are just beautiful with natural fibers, and it's a great opportunity to be able to purchase some of those more luxurious fibers at just super affordable prices. I actually did make a purchase before fall, so it was not for fall because my goal was to only use yarn that I already had on hand for fall, but I did purchase this before fall because it was on sale and I could not pass it up. It was like $2 and something. I'll share it in my next podcast. I haven't gotten it yet. Seriously, so affordable. So if you would like to try out some of these really fun yarns, I will link Wool Warehouse down below, which is where I always get my drops from. Here comes my other cat. She will be joining us now. So just like the Knit Collage Serenity Boucle yarn is the main color on my original Corinne cardie, this is going to be the main color on this Corinne cardie. And then I'm using various scrap yarns for the inside of the granny squares. So I've got one granny square here. We're just rotating cats out here. So this is the first square that I've made. I just think that the color combination is so fun. So this is a Knit Collage Wildflower scrap yarn that I had, and then this is Darn Good Yarn recycled silk sari yarn, and then of course this is the Drops Air here. I just think it's going to end up looking so pretty. This design has crocheted granny squares for the whole body, and then the sleeves are knitted, and so I am so excited to get going on this. I feel like I need to really finish this Douglas cardie first and then get started on this one, but I cannot wait to get going on this one. I've got lots of different wildflower colors that are going to be so pretty in it. And then I've got that Darn Good yarn, the silk sari yarn. It's in this beautiful turquoise color. And then I've also got some of the batik fabric yarn that I've made. So I'm very excited to use up some of these scraps. I've got all sorts of different colors here. I'm going to kind of play around with colors and just see what I like most, but I cannot wait to finish this cardigan because I know I'm going to wear it all the time. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another podcast. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Please put down below if there's anything you want me to add to these, or if there's something that I left out from last month's podcast. But thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.